I just need to chill, maybe I need a shake. Need to hear him preach, it's a minute piece. I'm always in the mood, think I just need some sleep. Hey, telling myself I'm a mess. I blame it all on my ex, on me. Is this as good as it gets? Is this as good as it gets? I don't want the drama, from the trauma. Bad energy, it's a problem, I take it personal.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Reese with Rising with Reese. I collaborate with others to empower themselves spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. We have been recently discussing 3 essential factors which one would need to survive underneath the rubble. One would have to have adequate air, temperature, and water. If you tune in to the link below, you will find last week's episode that discussed air. This week, we will discuss temperature. There is something that is built deep down inside that tells your brain and triggers your body to respond to certain things. In order for the body to remain in a homeostasis state, which basically means balanced, the body goes through what is called thermoregulation. Thermoregulation simply is a fancy way of saying when it's too hot, it cools itself down. It tells your vessels to open up. It's called vasodilation. And what happens is you begin to sweat to cool your body off. That's why when you're hot, you sweat. When it's too cold, it warms itself up. It tells your body to tell your vessels to constrict. That's when you get shivery and you begin to shake and tremble because your body is trying to warm itself up. So how does that tie in with my book? Vasoconstriction and vasodilation, thermoregulation. I can explain. When it seemed like my whole world crumbled down on top of me and I was buried underneath the rubble, my body began to go through emotional thermoregulation. What does that mean? There was a point where I was so angry, I was so frustrated, I was impatient, I was snappy, short-tempered. I was in a state of being hot. I was in a hyperthermia state. But then there were times where I was cold. I was depressed. I was dealing with anxiety. I felt less than. I felt like I had no worth. I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel like I was worth it. I was paralyzed by fear to move on or to even move out of the place that I was stuck in. A lot of people are tuned in right now because you clicked the link on my Facebook page or my Instagram page. If that's not the case, you may have been on YouTube searching keywords like trauma, traumatic healing, self-worth, self-love. Those things may have brought you to this page. But regardless of the fact, you are here for a reason. It's not by chance you came across this page. It wasn't until one day I was taking care of a patient and he was listening to a song on his speakerphone. And the name of the song was called Blowback. And I kept hearing the words, breathing in the blowback, breathing in the blowback. And I sat there. After I put the medication up, I hung the medication, I sat there and I just listened to those words. This song touched my heart so much. I kept hearing the words, breathing in the blowback, and it strengthened me. It gave me courage to run and to keep moving forward, that no matter what, as long as I get to the other side, I'll be safe. The song was about a young lady who was tired of the way that she was living. She was tired of her circumstances. She was born into an environment which left her no choice but to be less than in her eyes. But instead of remaining in the state of self-pity and having no worth, this woman was determined to change. No matter what it took, she was willing to go through. Blowback is the process where gases expand or travel in the direction opposite of, especially in pressure or delayed combustion. So normally when something explodes, people run from it. But in this case, the woman saw that across from the explosion, across from that very thing that exploded and the combustion that was there, even though it was dangerous to run through, and even though she was afraid, she ran through and breathed in the blowback. And once she breathed in the blowback, she used it as firepower to dart through the blowback. She ran through her fears. But in order to run through her fears, she had to go through something scary, which was leave everything behind. How about you know that very thing that you're scared of, that combustion that you're afraid of, you don't only run past the results of the combustion, but you run past that very thing that exploded. How many of y'all are afraid to run past that very thing that exploded in your life because you're afraid of getting hurt, you're afraid of getting burnt, you're afraid of people talking about you, you're afraid of the fear that you can't do it and you can't make it? I'm here to tell you that you can. So when the crowd disperses, when everybody runs from the blowback, friends that you thought were going to always be there, even family members may have turned their back on you. Loved ones, people whom you thought would always be there, they may have ran, but I'm telling you, even in spite of them running, you run through. Keep going forward. I heard someone said you can't be who you're becoming and who you were at the same time. You have to become. You have to begin to transform, evolve, change. But it takes a lot of strength. It takes something deep down inside. It takes that thermoregulation to find that balance in your life. The temperature plus the body equals firepower. That is your second essential item that you need. Tune in next week so we can talk about the third essential item. I hope that this video helped you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Reese with Rising with Reese. Like, subscribe, or share. God bless you.
Public perception is often deception. I think somebody needs to tell the truth. Yeah, killing my ego through my soul.